Hey guys, mightyferret here with episode 4 of Kerbal Space Program. Now it might sound different than this, but it's because I've put it all into one single file rather than having a separate audio file. This because I've had trouble recording it. Because I've tried building a ship and twice when I tabbed out, Kerbal Space Program didn't want to work again. Thankfully though, this does make editing easier when I speed this video up, which I'm going to do here when I build this rocket. The rocket. It's a simple 3-stage craft. It's got the stage 1 is the solid rocket boosters and these engines would fire. Then these solid rocket boosters will drop off to stage 2 where just these are firing. Then that would drop off, firing this bit up here, and then well there's technically a 4th stage which is just this pod coming back down to Earth. I just noticed I don't have a parachute on that. Be a good idea, otherwise it would just smack into the ground. That's what I want there, isn't it? Yeah. Right. Let's call this the Giga Drill. Yes, I know that's a reference to an anime. Whatever. Let's see if this thing flies. Because last episode you would have seen me flying the space planes. They didn't work out so well. Let's turn on the SAS. Throttle up. That is very shaky. Okay, so those engines came off. It's not good. This may not work. I'll need to put some structural supports on those, and also that together, because they shouldn't be forcing themselves apart like that. Just on me, with this setup it looks kinda like Thunderbird 3. Any of you ever seen Thunderbirds? I must admit, it's doing quite well considering it's only 3 solid rocket boosters. Oh, there we go. Only problem now being, yeah, I don't think... well, it seems to be slowing down. Turn on RCS. Just listen to the explosions below me with this stuff. Come on. Can I make it into space? Can I make it out of the thickest layer of atmosphere? Because normally by now I should be doing my gravity turn to get myself into orbit when I reach here, but I should have reached here by now because I should have had just 3 engines firing rather than 1. Maybe I should just abort this launch and then just sort out that problems that I had with the engines on the bottom. Clop that just so I can track my fuel. It actually seems to be doing rather well considering. I mean, I'm not making it into space. making it nowhere near space. I'm making it 19 kilometers up. There's the island that I wanted to land on, with the weird, what appears to be a graphical glitch, because it seems to be that there's a clean cut right through the island just behind the airbase. I've lost orientation. That's the way I want to go. By pointing the nose directly in the way I'm heading. I am going to run out of fuel long before I get into orbit, because, well, yeah. Although, admittedly, maybe, if this gets into orbit, I'm going to be surprised. Actually, yeah, I could probably get this into orbit if I tried. Just warp it quickly, just to get near the apoapsis. There. I've just passed it, so I may have messed this up. So I want to point that way, throttle. And it's extending nicely. Not going to get into orbit, there's no way we'd have enough fuel to get into orbit, but... yeah, didn't get into orbit, but did get quite a nice distance. So, we separate that, because we won't be needing that anymore. And then we just watch Bill Kerman just fly around. No, oh yeah, there is. Tiny little window. The only thing is, I've just noticed that obviously that's the widest part of the capsule there, which behind him, and that's the narrowest part, which means... no, that is right, isn't it? It's lying backwards. Shall I send him on a spacewalk? See, I'm not very good at controlling spacewalks, so it's just to show you that you can get out of the craft. But until I get something in a geostationary orbit, or like a massive space station, I'm probably not going to be doing that. We are losing altitude, which means we are going back down towards Kerbal. Cannot... oh, right, I didn't realise I was throttled up. So let's speed it up, just so we get into the atmosphere. Oh, there we go, that's us into the atmosphere now. The problem being, I don't have any lights in this, so I can't actually see where I'm going to land. So if we angle the craft so it's the fattest side is entering, it doesn't really affect it that much just now, but I need to get into the habit just in case I do add in re-entry heat. Just keep on that line. Because I am actually in the atmosphere now. And I'm hurtling towards Kerbal at a speed of about 2,000 kilometers a second. No, sorry. 2 kilometers a second, not 2,000 kilometers a second. know, but I know one thing. That's now the screenshot for this episode. And I somehow deployed the chute. I need to look into the settings for that, because I don't remember deploying the parachute. Let's hit the wrong button. Come on. Come on. Come on, come on, come on. I've just deployed the chute too early, I know that much. I'm supposed to have this angled to where I'm heading. Ah, there we go. Now I can see which direction I'm falling in. Parachute seems not to like this. Oh, that's the chute deployed fully. And it is not... Ah, that's what it was. It was because I had the SAS on. So just watch it gracefully float down. It still has about a kilometre to go, admittedly. This is actually taking a longer time than I expected to fall. Although we are almost there. We're almost there. We're almost there. Bonk. Make him jump out at the last second. Because why not? So that one actually went pretty well. However, I'm going to need to rethink the design if I want to get it into orbit. Hopefully it's just a few minor tweaks on the Giga Drill. In fact it is. It's just fixing these up, so I'll quickly get that. Get these EAS 4-strut connectors, or as I like to call it, duct tape. Just do that. It's not what I wanted to do, but hopefully that does the job. I also need to connect these engines on. God, they're not. This is the problem, they don't really do what they're supposed to. Oh. That one did. Right. Save. And let's try that again. Now, because of the way I've got the connectors on the main things to the solid rocket boosters, I am expecting this to spin wildly out of control. And those engines still look really bad. It's leaning a bit more than I'd want it to, but it's overall not that bad. This is working rather well, in fact. We've got Bob Kerman in the cockpit this time. just slowly leaving the space center behind as we hurtle into space. Now, the worrying thing is when I disconnect these, what's going to happen? Because of those connectors. We'll find out in a minute, I suppose. What happened was absolutely nothing except these things came loose. I really need to find a way to secure those, probably secure them up here. To stop them moving apart as much. Now, I want to start my renovated journal. You see Minmus in the distance there? In the moon. The reason I know that's Minmus is because it's shooting up into the sky whilst we're still quite thick in the atmosphere during the day. Turn. Turn. Don't too much, don't too much, don't too much. That was too much. So just, a bit hold about there. It's not good because I can see that slowly dropping towards the horizon. How are we doing on the orbit map? Yeah, perhaps this is climbing. What was that? Must have just been an audio glitch. We are speeding up. We're still gaining altitude. And we are watching this fuel drop. So if I switch that to that, just so I can monitor more normally how much we've actually got left. Probably isn't the most efficient way to burn fuel, but I'm pretty sure once we get out of the thicker atmosphere, that'll change. Oh, that's I was out of fuel, so we'll do that. Let it drift a little bit before we fire those engines. Fire them. We are reaching our apoapsis pretty soon, so best fire them now, I suppose. And that will help. Push. As further from our apoapsis and then further into orbit, hopefully. It is climbing slower than I want it to, though. I think it's because we're that close to Kerbal. We are still technically in its atmosphere, I think. Yeah, we're still quite heavily into its atmosphere. We need to get it here before we get our full boost working. Although apparently we are speeding up on the altitude gain, so... It says there we're in orbit, but we're not, because... Well, you can see that we will crash somewhere over here, although that's the apoapsis growing quite heavily now. And we've still got plenty of fuel left. I don't care if it's a straight orbit, as long as it's an orbit. fact, it's definitely not a straight orbit because, well, that's a pole there. Oh. Looking good. Actually, that apoapsis is getting out pretty far now, so if we warp. And just make sure we are angled properly. Do that, and that should give us a more even orbit. In fact, according to this, we have got a periapsis now, which means we are in orbit. And it's quite a squint orbit, but there we go. The orbit quite close and then quite far, so we kind of speed up, slow down. But it's still in orbit. Kylo there. Minmus is... We should actually, according to this, be able to see Minmus. I mean, there's the moon. There's Kerbin there. I don't know where Minmus is. One of those dots. So let's do a full orbit, and then... That's more than one full orbit. If we get to our apoapsis, and just take a look at what it looks like from our apoapsis, and then just decay our orbit so we get back to Kerbin. There's our apoapsis. Yep, so this is us at our furthest point. As you can see, that's frozen. This is because that's 1488K. So now what we want to do is... oh no, actually. We want to aim in the direction opposite of what we're going, which is that way. And then fire our engines at full and just hope that we have enough to decay our orbit. Which we do. Now obviously this is the side that we're coming down on. So we want to try and get that as close to, well, there really as possible. And I've just changed the direction, so I'm going. I know what I'm doing, don't worry. Just some last minute adjustments because I'm trying to land as close to there as possible. And I am gaining altitude, right. So I need to try and get that bit to there. That's as close as I'm going to get it, apparently. So I'm now heading straight towards Kerbal. This is going to be a slightly longer than normal episode. In fact, I will warp to get us back towards Kerbal quicker. Whoa! Yee. That's not good. According to this, the parachute won't deploy. I'm not liking that. Why won't you deploy? Oh, there we go. That's it deployed now. I can't see the Space Center from here, though. I think we landed a tad too far north. Yeah, we're there, and the Space Center's there, so we have added too far to the northwest. Still, landed on the same continent. It's something. So once we land this, I'll end the episode there. It says deployed, and we've now got a shadow that we can follow as well. Because this time we're landing on the light side of Kerbal. And next episode, let's see if we can get to the moon. Well, next episodes. It'd be an idea for me to attempt to build a rover. Still coming down. Just taking a lot longer than I expected. Next time I'm going to put a decoupler there just so when it gets to a certain height I can just drop it. It'd survive that. It's only going, what, 6 meters per second? It's only, what, 600 meters above sea level, and where the shadow is means it's probably only about 20 feet. Yeah, it would have survived that drop. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there, guys, and I will see you next episode.